Dan Williams, Survive Outdoors. If you're new to the channel, we do wilderness medicine videos, how to keep you safe in the outdoors, and tell you what to do, God forbid, if you get injured. If you hear the background, besides the birds, in northern Illinois, and these little guys are all over the place. So it is cicada time. So he doesn't want to leave my finger. All right, the other day, I had a gentleman come in about in the 70s, was walking, fell, and had an avulsion of the skin. When you get older, you're thin skinned. And it got me thinking, I have not discussed what to do if you're 4 or 5 days out and you get an avulsion, like a flap laceration to the epidermis. The epidermis is the top layer of skin. So we're going to talk today about what to do if you're 4 or 5 days from getting back home and you have an avulsion of your skin. And sometimes it can be a very large. You're falling down and you skin it and it flips back. And that can be very difficult to close. So we're going to discuss that, and I'm going to show you some photos of what I did with this guy. All right, well, we're going to work on this banana today because YouTube is probably going to appreciate that much better. They nail me when I start doing lacerations on my leg. So the skin on this banana, we're going to assume this is the epidermis. An avulsion, like this guy's leg, what happened, as you see, it's very pronounced. I had to pull it back over, and it was below his knee, which means he can't be bending his knee while he's got the sutures in. So these can be difficult to keep together. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is, let's get this started. And if you've seen my other videos, and I'll put one at the end on suturing, if you do on an avulsion, if you do basically your normal stitch that we talked about and I've showed you before, a lot of times when you do this and you tie it, what will happen is the skin, even if it's a millimeter, will pull over the top of the banana. And if that happens, it's called dehissing. That wound will dehiss and pull apart. You need to have 2 fresh margins like this attaching. So what I did on this guy is, if you saw this second picture here, you're going to see where I not only stitched it, but I also did steri-strips. One of the stitches that we do is called a horizontal mattress. So what we do is you go in, and I'll show you what the effect of this is when you do this. You put one in like that. You put another one in like this. And you want to approximate, and you're going to come up. And you pull that in like that, and then you tie this, and you'll see what happens. Now, when I tie that, it everts both ends up, and you get better wound approximation. You see, that is, no way is that going to slide over the top of the other one. So if you're in the outdoors and you have an avulsion, you can do a horizontal mattress. The other thing you can do, I mean, 98.9% of you guys are not going to be stitching. So what you can do, if it's a really ugly laceration, is if you have some duct tape, you can definitely take your duct tape, and what I always do is sometimes put one on both sides, and then you can you're going to put this on the skin, draw your skin tight, and then put that down. You could also, if you have these, and I know I've given a few of these away, a stapler, you can staple the wound. Remember, you want these equidistant apart. You could also then, in between those, you can put your steri strips on top. Now, like you see on this closure, I sutured in with horizontal mattress, and I had them very wide. And then I put the steri strips in between, and then we wrapped his leg nice and tight, had him come back in 2 days. But if you're 4 or 5 days out, it makes sense to do a couple closures on a wound of this nature, because they have a tendency to, especially if it's next to a joint, they have a tendency to come apart. So that's really, really important. And if worse comes to worse, you come back in, we may have to re-excise it. And don't forget, before you close any wound in the outdoors, irrigate, irrigate, irrigate. That has got to be cleaned out as best as you can. Really important. So this is an avulsion laceration where it's at an angle and it peels away the skin. And if it's over a joint, you really need to immobilize it, because every time you move that joint, you have run the risk of popping all the sutures. I hope that helps in terms of what to do with this type of wound in the outdoors. All right, guys, with June, we got a giveaway at the end of the month. Keep your eyes on the rise and your face to the wind. We'll see you next time.